What if I told you that overthinking isn't a personality flaw, but a silent storm that rages within the mind, stealing your peace and leaving you feeling utterly exhausted? It's that endless, looping movie of replaying the past and rehearsing the future, while the beautiful, precious moments of your actual life pass by completely unnoticed. Now, what if the key to calming that storm wasn't a modern hack or a complex therapy, but an ancient set of teachings, so simple and yet so profound? They have been guiding minds to clarity and peace for over 2.50 years. In this video, we are not going to discuss complex dogma. Instead, we are going to explore 6 simple, powerful lessons from Buddhist philosophy that act as a practical toolkit for the modern mind. We will learn how to anchor ourselves in the present, let go of the exhausting need for control, and find the deep, unshakable peace that has always been waiting for you just beneath the noise. Your journey out of the storm starts right now. Overthinking is like a silent storm that takes over your thoughts and steals your peace. It's incredibly easy to get stuck in a looping cycle, endlessly replaying things that have already happened, stressing about a future that hasn't yet arrived, or analyzing the present moment into 1,000 tiny pieces. When your mind feels this heavy, this full of relentless noise, it's natural to feel confused, overwhelmed, and tired. But you are not alone in feeling this way. So many people in our modern world struggle with the same mental noise, the same inner storm. Buddhism, a tradition rich with timeless wisdom, shares ancient but incredibly helpful ideas that can teach us how to calm our minds and find a more profound sense of peace. In this video, we will look at 6 simple and powerful lessons from Buddhist philosophy that can help bring peace, focus, and a sense of balance back into your life. These teachings are not meant to be abstract beliefs, but practical guides that can lead you to a place of calm and clarity. Let's take this step together and find the peace that has always been inside us, just waiting to be rediscovered. Number 1. Stay in the present moment. So often, our minds are like time machines, constantly pulling us back into the grainy footage of yesterday's regrets or launching us into 1,000 anxious simulations of tomorrow. We get stuck thinking about what has already happened or what might happen next. We may feel a deep sadness about the past or a churning worry about the future. We torment ourselves with questions like, what if things had gone differently? Or, what if something terrible happens? These thoughts create a constant undercurrent of stress and pull us away from the only place where life is actually happening, the present moment. But the past is over, a collection of memories and ghosts. And the future has not yet come. It is a phantom, a mere projection of our hopes and fears. The Buddha's teachings gently help us remember that the present is all we truly have. He said, "Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment." This simple yet profound message asks us to let go of what we cannot change and what we do not yet know, and instead, to bring our full, undivided awareness to what is happening right now. As you listen to these words, you are living in the present. This moment is real. This is where your life unfolds. When you stop allowing the past and future to control your thoughts, Your mind becomes lighter. You feel more calm. The constant, exhausting chatter and worrying begin to fade away when you give yourself permission to simply be in the now. There is a wonderful story about a wise monk walking by a rushing river with his young, anxious student. The monk stepped into the water calmly, but the student hesitated on the bank, his mind filled with fears of the strong current. He feared the water might sweep him away. Seeing his student's paralysis, the monk said, "The river is like time. It always flows. But to cross it safely, you must be present with where you are and trust each step as you take it. You cannot cross by worrying about the water that is downstream, nor by regretting the water that has already passed you by." This story beautifully reminds us that overthinking can stop us from moving forward. Fear and regret can freeze us in place. But if we trust the present moment and focus on what is right in front of us, we can learn to move with the flow of life, not against it. So, remember, peace is found not in yesterday or tomorrow, but in the now. Let go of what was. Don't fear what might be. Just be here, fully, right now. Number 2. Let go of what you can't control. The more we obsess over things we cannot change, the more we suffer. We often get stuck in a mental loop, going over the same thoughts again and again, wondering, what if, imagining the worst-case scenarios, or desperately holding on to people or situations we have no real power over. We treat our minds like a courtroom, endlessly cross-examining events that are long past. But all this thinking only brings more stress, more worry, and more pain. The Buddha taught that our suffering doesn't come from what happens to us, but from our clinging to those things. It is our reaction, our resistance, our desperate need to control, that causes the pain. When we get stuck thinking about things beyond our control, we are willingly choosing to make ourselves feel worse. So, how do we stop this self-inflicted pain? We start by courageously accepting that we cannot control everything. Life will always have its ups and downs, its unexpected turns, its moments of joy and sorrow. Trying to control every single outcome is like trying to command the tide to stop. It only adds immense pressure and stress to our lives. But when we accept things as they are, we open the door to peace. Ask yourself this simple, powerful question: can I do anything to change this right now? If the answer is no, then take a deep breath. And on the exhale, consciously let it go. Don't waste your precious energy fighting a battle that isn't yours to fight. The moment you stop trying to control what can't be controlled, your mind will feel lighter, freer, and more spacious. There's an old story of a man who spent his entire day trying to push a giant boulder up a hill. No matter how hard he pushed and strained, the rock wouldn't budge. Exhausted and frustrated, he finally collapsed. A monk passing by watched him for a while and then said gently, "Why do you exhaust your spirit pushing something that was never meant to move? Your path is not blocked by the boulder. Your path is the way around it." This story reminds us that forcing things to happen or holding on to what should be released only makes our journey harder. True strength lies not in brute force, but in the wisdom to know when to stop pushing. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means making room for peace. It means trusting the journey of life. even when you don't have all the answers. So, free your mind. Stop fighting what you cannot change. In that surrender, in that stillness, you will find a deep, quiet strength and the profound peace that comes from within. Number 3. Simplicity brings true peace and joy. In today's world, life often feels incredibly busy and full of noise. We are surrounded by a constant stream of distractions, our phones buzzing, emails piling up, deadlines looming, and an endless cycle of news. We feel pressure from work, from relationships, from how we look, and from what we should be doing with our future. It's easy to feel weighed down by all of these things. The more we try to keep up, the more overwhelmed we become. It can feel like we're carrying a heavy backpack, and with every passing year, we just add more rocks to it, wondering why our shoulders ache. But Buddhism offers a simple and powerful truth. Happiness and peace come from living simply. It's not about chasing after more success, more money, or some state of perfection. It's about consciously letting go of what doesn't truly matter and focusing on what does. The Buddha often taught that a simple life leads to a peaceful mind, not only in our daily habits but also in the very quality of our thoughts and emotions. One of his well-known teachings from the Dhammapada says, "There is no path to happiness. Happiness is the path." This means we don't need to search for happiness somewhere far away or in some perfect, imagined future. Happiness is already here, available to us in the present moment. When we stop cluttering our lives and our minds, when we stop trying to add more and instead start to appreciate what is already here, we can feel calm, grateful, and at ease. When we choose a simple life, we stop chasing after things that don't bring lasting joy. We stop comparing ourselves to others or worrying about things we can't control. We give ourselves permission to breathe, to slow down, and to truly enjoy the life we already have. Zen monks follow a principle known as shubumi, which can be translated as a kind of quiet, understated, and profound beauty found in simplicity. One Zen master famously said, "The simpler the life, the more the universe opens up." This idea teaches us that peace doesn't come from doing more, but from being more with what we do, with more care and more awareness. When we clear out the clutter, both in our homes and in our minds, we can finally see what truly matters. Think for a moment, how many of your daily worries are truly necessary? How often do you feel stress from things you can't actually change? Much of this pressure comes from trying to control too much, plan too far ahead, or hold on to things we don't truly need. But neither the past nor the future is happening right now. Only this moment is real. And in this moment, you have the power to choose a simpler, more peaceful way of living. A simple life is not a boring life. In fact, it can be more full and rich than you might expect. When we slow down, we begin to notice the quiet beauty in everyday things. A quiet morning with a cup of tea, a genuine smile from a friend, the feeling of the warm sun on your skin. These small moments become incredible sources of joy when we stop rushing and start paying attention. When your mind is full of too many thoughts, worries, and goals, it's impossible to feel calm. But when you clear away the extra noise, You create space for peace, for kindness, and for meaning. You don't have to do everything, be everything, or fix everything. Sometimes, just being present is more than enough. Simplicity also helps us get closer to who we really are. When we stop pretending or trying to meet every external expectation, we reconnect with our true, authentic self. We begin to live from the inside out, not the outside in, and that brings a deep sense of peace and freedom. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means understanding that you don't need to hold on to everything. It means choosing what matters most and gently, lovingly, releasing the rest. Number 4. Trust that everything changes, impermanence. This brings us to perhaps the most powerful and comforting truth in all of Buddhist thought. If you feel trapped, if you feel like your current struggle is a permanent prison, this one idea is the key that can unlock the door. That idea is, trust that everything changes. Life is always in motion. Nothing stays the same, not our joys, and not our troubles. In Buddhism, this fundamental truth is known as impermanence. It teaches us that everything, including our most difficult struggles, our deepest fears, and our most anxious thoughts, is temporary. No matter how heavy or overwhelming things feel right now, they will not last forever. The Buddha said, "All conditioned things are impermanent. Strive on with diligence." This means that everything that arises from causes and conditions, which is every feeling, every thought, every problem you can imagine, is always in motion. Things appear, they stay for a while, and they pass away. This understanding can bring immense comfort when we're stuck in the loop of overthinking, feeling like we're trapped in an endless cycle of worry or pain. Often, we overthink because we unconsciously believe our problems are permanent. We fear that the sadness, the fear, or the pressure we feel right now will never, ever go away. But when we remember that everything is always shifting, like the weather, we begin to feel a sense of hope. Nothing remains stuck forever. Even the hardest days eventually come to an end. The storm in your mind will eventually settle. Think of your emotions and thoughts not as solid states, but as waves on a vast ocean. Some waves of anxiety are large and intimidating. Some waves of joy are gentle and beautiful, but not a single wave, no matter how powerful, stays forever. They all rise from the ocean of your consciousness, express themselves for a time, and then dissolve back into the ocean from which they came. The profound insight here is that you are not the wave. You are the entire deep ocean. By embracing the present moment, letting go of control, choosing simplicity, and trusting in the flow of impermanence, we have already laid the foundation for a more peaceful mind. We've begun to quiet the storm. But there are two more essential teachings that act as the final pillars of this mental sanctuary. Teachings that address the nature of our compassion and the stories we tell ourselves. And that is where our journey will continue. When you can truly trust that even the most difficult waves of emotion will pass, a space begins to open up in your mind. This leads us to the fifth essential lesson, which takes this understanding of impermanence and applies it directly to the very nature of our thoughts, revealing a freedom we never knew we had. Number 5. Your thoughts come and go. They don't define who you are. We have all had those moments, or even entire days, when our minds feel like a crowded, chaotic marketplace. Thoughts come rushing in from every direction, vendors of worry shouting about the past, merchants of fear hawking anxieties about the future, and endless doubters questioning the present, all mixed together like a loud, relentless storm inside our heads. In those moments, it can truly feel like we are drowning in our own minds, hopelessly stuck in a dense fog we cannot escape. But Buddhism offers us a peaceful, elegant way through this mental storm. The Buddha teaches that our thoughts are like clouds passing through the vast, open sky of our awareness. They are always changing, never staying the same. They come, and they go, and just as the clouds do not define the sky, our thoughts do not define who we are. We are not our thoughts. We are the spacious awareness behind them. The Buddha once said, "With our thoughts, we make the world." This means that how we relate to our thoughts powerfully shapes how we see and feel about life. But the crucial key is not to grab onto every single thought that passes through your mind. We do not need to believe every worry, every fear, or every critical idea that pops into our head. Not every thought is true. Not every thought deserves our attention. Imagine you are sitting peacefully on the bank of a gently flowing river. You watch leaves of all shapes and colors float by on the current. These are your thoughts. You don't need to jump into the river and frantically try to catch every leaf or aggressively push away the ones you don't like. You can simply notice them, watch them drift past, and remain peacefully on the bank, still and undisturbed. Your thoughts are like those leaves, something to be observed, not something to be chased or clung to. When you practice letting your thoughts come and go without grasping onto them, you begin to feel lighter inside. You are no longer so easily lost in the labyrinth of overthinking. Instead, you learn to stay calm and centered, even in the middle of mental chaos. This practice is not about fighting your thoughts or trying to stop them, which is impossible. It is about seeing them with clarity and allowing them to pass, just like clouds drifting effortlessly across the sky. Here's a short story that beautifully illustrates this idea. A young, agitated student once came to his Zen master and said, "Master, my mind is a storm of thoughts. I cannot find peace." The master, without a word, led him to a small, still pond. He gently dropped a single pebble into the water, creating a cascade of ripples that spread across the surface. "These ripples," he said, "are like your thoughts. If you become agitated and try to chase every ripple to flatten it, you only disturb the water even more. But if you simply sit still and allow the ripples to fade on their own, the water naturally returns to clarity." The student sat quietly, watching the ripples slowly soften and disappear until the pond was perfectly still again. "You see," the monk said softly, "peace comes not from stopping the thoughts, but from ceasing to chase them." This story reminds us that while we can't stop thoughts from appearing, we don't have to follow them down the rabbit hole. We can let them rise and fall on their own. The more we practice this gentle observation, the more spacious and quiet our minds become. With that space comes profound peace. The Buddha also taught, our life is shaped by our mind. We become what we think. This means that when we attach ourselves to every negative or stressful thought, our life begins to feel heavy, negative, and stressful. But if we can learn to step back and let those thoughts pass without identifying with them, we open the door to clarity, calm, and a deeper understanding. Letting go of our thoughts doesn't mean ignoring them or pretending they don't exist. It means not letting them control us. Thoughts are natural. They will come. But you, the observer, get to choose whether to hold on to them or to let them float by like clouds in the sky or leaves on a stream. Each time you feel overwhelmed by your thoughts, take a deep, conscious breath. Remind yourself, these thoughts are not me. They are just passing visitors. Notice them, allow them to be there without resistance, and then, gently, let them go. Over time, this practice becomes easier, and your mind becomes more peaceful, like the still water of the pond after the ripples have faded. So, as you go through your day, remember, you are not your thoughts. You are the quiet observer, the calm, spacious presence behind the noise. And in learning to watch your thoughts without clinging, you will discover a deep sense of freedom and peace that has always been inside you. Number 6. Be mindful. Let your breath bring you back to peace. This brings us to our final, and perhaps most practical, lesson. If we are the sky and not the clouds, how do we learn to rest as the sky? If we are the observer on the riverbank, what is our anchor in the storm? The answer is a simple, profound practice that can calm the inner noise: mindfulness. In today's fast-moving world, our minds often feel busy and out of control. We jump from one thought to the next, worrying about problems, endlessly making plans, replaying fears. This can leave us feeling scattered, stressed, and lost in our own heads. Mindfulness is the direct antidote. It simply means being fully aware of what is happening right now, in this present moment, without judging or trying to fix it. It's not about emptying your mind or stopping your thoughts. It is simply about noticing them and letting them be, without getting swept away. One of the easiest and most powerful ways to practice mindfulness is by focusing on your breath. When your mind feels crowded or your heart feels heavy, just stop. Take one deep, conscious breath. Breathe in slowly, then breathe out gently. In that moment, your breath becomes your anchor. It brings you immediately back to the present moment, the only place where true peace can be found. The Buddha once said, "When the mind is calm, the breath is calm." This shows how intimately our breath and mind are connected. When we give our gentle, undivided attention to our breath, our frantic thoughts naturally begin to slow down. The storm inside quiets, and we feel more centered and grounded. Imagine your mind is the sky and your thoughts are the clouds. Your breath is like a gentle, steady wind. It doesn't fight the clouds, but it helps them move along gracefully without getting stuck and turning into a storm. Each time you breathe mindfully, you remind yourself that you are more than your thoughts. You are the vast, open sky that holds them all. Here's a beautiful story to explain. A young student, distressed, said to his teacher, "Master, my mind never rests. I am tormented by my thoughts." The monk calmly poured him a cup of hot tea. "Do not drink yet," he said. "Just hold the cup. Feel its warmth in your hands. Notice the steam rising in delicate curls. Inhale its earthy fragrance." The boy did as he was told, his full attention absorbed by the simple, sensory experience of the tea. After a few silent moments, the monk smiled. "Where did your busy mind go?" The boy looked up, surprised. I was just here. With the tea." The monk nodded. "That is mindfulness. Like the boy in the story, we can learn to focus on one simple thing, like the feeling of our breath, to bring us back to the now. The more we practice this, the more peaceful and present we become. You don't need special tools or a quiet room. You just need your breath. Whether you're walking, working, or resting, you can always return to it. With practice, your mind learns to stay calm, even when life gets difficult. Over time, mindfulness helps you see with greater clarity. You begin to notice when your thoughts are pulling you away, and you learn how to gently and kindly bring yourself back. This practice won't make life perfect, but it will help you feel more steady and less controlled by worry. So, the next time your mind feels too full, just stop and breathe. Let each breath be a small, compassionate reminder. I am here. I am okay. I am present. By practicing mindfulness daily, even for just a few minutes, you will begin to feel more in control, more peaceful, and more deeply connected to yourself. Overthinking won't have the same power over you. You will find your balance again, one breath at a time. So, let us bring this journey to a gentle close. You have learned that the key to peace lies not in some distant future, but right here, in the present moment. You have discovered the profound freedom that comes from letting go of what you cannot control. You have seen the quiet beauty and power of simplicity, and the deep, comforting hope found in trusting that everything changes. You have realized that you are not your thoughts, but the vast, peaceful sky through which they pass. And finally, you have been given the most practical of all tools, your own breath, to anchor you in that peace through the practice of mindfulness. These are not just ideas, they are seeds. And now, the practice of watering them begins. Be here, in this moment. Gently let go of the thoughts that pull you into the past or push you into the future. Keep your life simple, and remember that nothing stays the same forever, not even your hardest times. Change is always happening, so trust that better days will come. Your mind is strong. With time and gentle effort, you can learn to focus, to quiet your thoughts, and to feel more peace inside. If this video has offered you even a single breath of peace or a moment of clarity, please help us share this message by giving it a like. It's a simple act that helps these teachings find others who need them. And if you'd like to continue walking this path of awareness with us, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you won't miss what's next. And now, I would love to create a moment of shared practice. In the comments below, I invite you to write just one word that describes how you want your mind to feel. Is it peaceful, calm, clear, free? Let's fill this space with our collective intention. Thank you for your time and your open heart. Stay present. Stay kind to yourself. And may each breath bring you a little more peace. Until next time.